Hello, and I'm here to talk to you today about body modification. Body modification is pretty much the altering of one's body, such as tattooing, piercing, etc., etc. And today we're going to talk about the history of body modification, and we're going to talk about some of the different kinds of body modifications, such as piercing, tattooing, scarification, and I'll talk about the process of how some of them are done. We're not going to go too in-depth with all of them because there's just so many kinds of body modification that it would take hours and hours to talk about all of them. So we're just going to name a couple and also talk about how they've evolved throughout years and years of them being practiced. And yeah, here we go. Tattoos have been thought to be around since about 10,000 years ago. The oldest specimen, I guess you could say, of tattoos was found on the Iceman, Ötzi, that was found in about 1991, and he was found to have tattoos, and he was thought to be a caveman around those times. So obviously tattooing has been around for a while. Tattoos also depicting animals and mythical creatures were also found on Egyptian mummified corpses, and those could be used to symbolize their gods and everything of that sort, so they were also found there. Tattooing can also be found on every inhabited place on Earth, but when Christianity started to really take a rise, people with tattoos were looked at as criminals and pagans and not so good people. Obviously, which wasn't the case, but they just were looked at as signs of the devil, pretty much. But then by the late 18th century, tattoos started to pick up again, and sailormen and seamen and soldiers were getting tattooed, and and then King George V got tattooed, and that was a big deal, and that really got tattoos back rolling again, and that's when they started to pick up in the community. Tattoos have been used for many reasons, such as self-expression and identification, such as when the Nazis would tattoo the Jews and give them their numbers and all that kind of sort. So tattoos have been used for some negative sides, but mainly lots of positives that they've been used for. Generally today, though, people get tattoos to tell their stories and express themselves in their own ways. Everyone's tattoos really has their own meanings, not like back in the day where certain tattoos had certain meanings and you couldn't really change that. Body piercing is also another form of body modification. Body piercing is pretty much when you get a piercing anywhere on your body, anywhere from your nose, your ears, your lip, your belly button, your eyebrow, etc., etc. Piercings can be found pretty far back. One of the first accounts of piercings was in the Bible, in Genesis 22:24, or 24:22, and they mentioned having nose piercings in there, so it can date pretty far back. And then sometime in the 16th century, nose piercings were brought to India, and then from India, hippies back in the 70s and 60s would take their journeys, and that's where they found them when they traveled to India, and that's how they were brought back to the States. Piercings such as tongue piercings and lip piercings were originated by the Aztecs, and they were generally used for ceremonial purposes and by sacrificing blood to the gods, but hope that's not really used as much today. But those were that's where those came about. Ear piercings were created for more magical purposes. People used to think that demons could enter your body easily through your ears, so people would get their ears pierced, and they would think that metal would scare away demons and they wouldn't be able to enter the body. So that's why people would start getting the ears pierced. Piercings also are obviously starting to become way more accepted into modern culture, and lots of people are getting them. So it's not really so much as a taboo thing anymore. Lots of people are accepting of piercings, and they don't look down upon them. And now they've taken piercings to a whole new level. They have something called subdermal implanting, which is pretty much a piercing under the skin. What subdermal implanting is they will take a foreign object made out of stainless steel or silicone, and they will place it under your skin by cutting your skin open right above the tissue and the muscle and slide the object in right under there, so that the object would appear like it's actually under your skin. This hasn't really been around that long, and only in the recent few years has it really started to become a known thing. It didn't really have an origin back in any tribes or anything. Mainly just body piercers and body modification specialists that were interested in trying new things with their body, thought of it, and came up with the concept of doing that. The next kind of body modification that we're going to talk about is scarification. Scarification pretty much is when you burn symbols into your skin or you carve symbols into your skin with a scalpel or some other sharp tool. And pretty much with this, you're just putting a symbol on you that symbolizes something such as coming of age in some tribes, or religious purposes, or just tribal purposes, establishing your place in the tribe or what kind of tribe you are in. Scarification has been found in many different types of tribes all over the world, from Africa to China to the Aztecs, everywhere like that. Many tribes have used it as a way to symbolize themselves and their tribe. Different kinds of scarification will prove different results. So pretty much when you burn or etch something in your skin with a knife or a scalpel, that's going to take off the top layer of skin, and then as it heals, it's going to scar. And that's pretty much what people are looking for, is a really nice scar to display a symbol or something. It doesn't always turn out that well, but they try to do it in the best way possible and the cleanest way possible, so that they do achieve the best result while doing it. As you can see, body modification has come a long way from being that kind of taboo subculture kind of thing in ancient African and tribes as such, and has really become a big booming body modification has really changed since its taboo ways found only in African tribes, and really has become a kind of well-known, well-accepted thing. Lots of people are getting tattoos, piercings, body piercings, all that kind of thing. You see lots of people with it. They're everywhere. It's obvious that body modification isn't going to fade away anytime soon. It's just going to keep growing bigger and bigger, and more people are going to be getting body modifications. Also, the way of doing these body modifications and the kinds of body modifications you can